selfie camera, 1080p, 60 FPS on both. Sadly, there is no 4K available here, and I have to say I like how much wider the field of view is on Poco X7. But let's take some selfies now.
Definitely like how much wider the field of view is on Poco 7 on selfies. When you get closer, you can see not much difference between those two. However, Poco X7 has more natural colors. But let's check on stabilization now.
Now it's time to check on stabilization. This is ultra wide angle 1080p 30 FPS, and I have to say both doing a really good job here. I'm just enjoying a little walk, just trying to catch up with my wife and the dogs. By the way, if one of my videos that you watch helped you decide on your next smartphone, then huge sub to the channel and like would be very appreciated. But let's switch to the main sensor. Sadly, I have to stop, switch to the main sensor and then carry on with the review. And you got the main sensor. Both devices can record 4K 30 FPS, and as you can see my wife there. Stabilization is looking both again. I think they're doing a really nice job here. But let's take some pictures now.
And the biggest difference here is definitely the color accuracy. I was using ultra wide angle, main sensor and ×2, and you can clearly see that the tree was just more greener. That's what you can see on the Poco X7. On the top of that, what I like is the fact that Poco X7 can use ×2 for portrait photography, which is not available on Poco X6. For some reason, Poco X6 was quite blurry. I have wiped the lenses as I always do.
Both devices support steady mode, and I'm using this now. Let me do a little run up. And I have to say, the color accuracy is a little bit better on Poco X7 because my jacket isn't purple, and I can see on the Poco X6 it's more purple. However, it's more like a gray, I would say. But let's have a look at the maximum zoom now. Okay, so this is the maximum zoom on Poco X6 ×6. I am recording in 4K, but let's have a look at the Poco X7 now. I don't think there is much difference here, to be honest. I wouldn't really use, ×6 anyway, because you can see the quality is pretty bad. But let's take more pictures now.
You can definitely see pretty much in every situation that the Poco X7 is just more pleasing to the eye. Also, the colors are more natural. Picture on the Poco X6 is sometimes a bit too soft, which I don't really like. Poco on the other side, maybe sometimes a little bit too sharp. But you let me know your opinion, and let's have a look at the maximum zoom now.
I know this is about the camera, but I have to show you this design of this Poco X7, and I'm a huge fan of this design. I love the colors. Now we've got IP68 water and dust resistance, which I'm a huge fan of. If you watch my content, you know that I'm a huge macro photography fan. There is 2 megapixel macro sensor, but I wouldn't really use it. So this is just to show you what quality you can get ×2 in 4K. That's what I'm going to be using for macro. As you can see, you can get pretty nice results. The bokeh effects looking pretty good here. But I'm going to take a couple of macro shots now.
Just for comparison, you can see I was using ×2. As soon as you switch to the macro 2 megapixel camera, the results are just bad. Here the same. Look at the natural bokeh effect. Here the picture is just way too flat. So definitely stick to ×2 and avoid this 2 megapixel macro sensor.
As you can see now, I switched to the high resolution. We've got 64 megapixel on Poco X6 and 50 megapixel on Poco X7. But let's have a look which one's faster. Ooh, I think the Poco X6 was faster. But let's compare the picture quality now.
As you can see, that megapixel isn't everything. It's also about size sensor and image processing. I think Poco X7 is doing better here.
Selfie camera at night, recording in 1080p, 30 FPS. This is the quality. But let's have a look at some selfies now.
I must say that Poco X7 is beating the predecessor pretty much in every single category, but please let me know your thoughts.
This is video quality. It's nice using ultra wide angle, 1080p 30 fps. This is stabilization. But let's switch to the main camera now. And this is 4K 30 fps. You can clearly see the difference, how much better the quality is. And I have to say the color accuracy is a little bit better on Poco X7, so there is some improvements here, which is good. Also, what I noticed when you're making videos, make sure you switch all the filters, because by default they're adding some artificial filters, unfortunately. So yeah, definitely switch that off because the skin is just too soft.
I was using night mode on both of these devices, and I have to say I absolutely love how Poco X7 kept the color accuracy throughout the lenses. Sadly, Poco X6 was just a little bit struggling. As you can see here, again, Poco X7 keeps a little bit more natural. Even in the low light conditions, you can clearly see the difference that X7 is doing better.
If you are a photography enthusiast, you will not be disappointed here, because Poco X7 has RAW file available, which is very impressive. This is not available, unfortunately, on Poco X6. I am using Pro video mode, recording 1080p 60 fps, and I have to say I am also very impressed that Poco X7 has log mode available. Remember, this phone costs £249 and you get some pretty cool features, I have to say. But let's take more pictures now.
Again, I like the fact that you can get closer with Poco X7 when you do portrait photography. Sadly, Poco X6 is again struggling with the color accuracy. But please let me know, do you actually use portrait photography at the night? I would like to hear your thoughts.
We can clearly see that Poco X7 has better camera. I like the color accuracy better, but not to mention about the design. I am a huge fan of this beautiful vegan leather collar. Not to mention about the Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection. You get also brighter display. However, on the other side, we've got headphone jack on Poco X6, flat display, which some people like. So let me know, would you upgrade it? For me, yes, I would definitely upgrade from Poco X6 to Poco X7. Let me know your thoughts. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cheers!